Gold
Welcome
prices
to
have seen a
Iraqi
modest
Dinar News,
increase
your
driven by
source
a
for
weaker
breaking
dollar and
updates on
uncertainties
Iraq's
around the
financial
Ukraine peace
transformation.
deal
As of
and
the
U.S.
current
tariff
date in the
policies.
USA, we've
Spot
reached a
gold rose
major turning point that could
0.3%
define
to
the future for Iraqi
$2,866.19
dinar
per
exchange
ounce,
rate for
while
the
U.S. gold
IQD has been
futures climbed
officially
1%
published
to
in Iraq's legal Gazette,
$2,875.80.
a move sending a strong message
However,
across the global
critics
currency
argued that the
market.
tariffs would
If
ultimately
you've been
harm the
following
very
the dinar
workers
story,
they were
this is
intended
no
to
longer about
protect, leading to
speculation or
higher
rumors.
prices for
This is a
consumers and
confirmed
businesses
legal
alike.
announcement.
An
And it could
unexpected
mark the
rise in
beginning of a
claims could signal
long-awaited
economic
shift for both
weakness,
local
potentially
citizens
weakening the
and
U.S. dollar
international
and boosting
investors.
gold prices
For those
as a safe
holding
haven.
dinars or
This
closely
protectionist
following
stance, a
revaluation
hallmark of the
updates,
Trump
this
administration's
moment
economic
carries
policy,
significant
had been a
weight.
source of tension
Iraq's
since the
central
president
bank
took
has
office.
now made
If the
its
Fed
currency
signals an
policy
aggressive
public
tightening
by
approach,
publishing
it
the
could put
latest
downward
exchange
pressure on
rate in
gold
the country's
and increase
official
demand
record.
for the dollar.
This isn't just an administrative step. It's a legal
The
and
imposition of
financial
tariffs
statement
sets off a
that
chain
Iraq is
reaction.
moving
The
toward
tariffs, they
greater
argued,
stability
would also
and
invite
transparency.
retaliation
For
from trading
years, the
partners,
dinar has
potentially
traded
sparking a
around
trade war.
1,300
However, indications of a
IQD per
cautious approach
USD.
might weaken
But
the
this
dollar and
latest
make gold
change
more
may reflect
attractive.
the beginning of a
Conversely,
broader
if the
effort to
minutes reveal
enhance Iraq's
hesitation about
monetary
further rate
credibility
hikes
on the world
due to
stage.
economic uncertainty,
The decision
gold
to
could see
release
a
the new
rally
rate
as
through
investors
official
hedge
legal
against
channels
inflation risk.
shows the Iraqi government's
One of the most
intention
immediate
to
and
anchor its
significant
currency
impacts
policy
is on
in
inflation.
formal,
One of the
verifiable
most significant
systems.
factors
The
in recent
reaction from
times,
economists
tariffs.
and currency
Now,
analysts has
onto
been
the gold
swift.
market.
While the
Let's switch
updated
gears to
figure
the
may
stock
differ
market,
slightly
or
depending
that would
on
benefit
market
no one.
fluctuations,
Welcome to the
deeper
Market
message is
Newsroom.
clear.
It's the world's
Iraq
reserve
is
currency.
positioning the
Next,
dinar
let's talk
for
about the Federal
long-term
Reserve.
value
Higher energy
stabilization
costs and
global
persistent
recognition.
supply chain disruptions
This
are the
step
main
isn't
drivers.
just about
Thank you for
strengthening
watching the
currency.
Market Newsroom.
It's also about
The tariffs have been
reestablishing
met with
trust
mixed
in Iraq's
reactions.
financial
Of market
institutions.
forecasts of
Publicly committing to a rate
2.9%.
and making
These
that
tariffs took
commitment
effect in
visible to
early
the world is a
2025.
key move in aligning with international norms.
Hey everyone,
increasing
so let's
investor
jump right into it
confidence
and keep you
reducing
ahead of the
inflationary
curve.
pressure
A
inside
domino
the country.
effect that
Why
ripples
now?
through the global
The answer
economy.
lies
Traders should
in
also
Iraq's
watch for any
recent progress.
geopolitical comments.
Oil
Some
revenues
industries
are climbing,
welcome the protection
foreign
from foreign
reserves are
competition.
expanding, and
Another crucial
inflation
update
is
will
being
come from
brought
the
under
Federal
tighter
Reserve.
control.
The consequences
These
of this
elements
shift will be
together
felt for
create an
years to
ideal
come. The
environment
tariffs
for
are a major
monetary
development
reform.
in U.S. trade policy.
Iraq's economy
Inflation
is
and
no
economic
longer in a
indicators are also
reactive
worth
state.
mentioning.
It's beginning
They
to
have the
operate
potential
with
to reshape
intention.
North American trade
Publishing
relations.
the dinar's
This
new
report
rate in the
provides a
Gazette is
snapshot
not
of the
just
labor
an
market's
internal
health.
gesture.
This
It's a
expectation
public
is influencing the
declaration to
dollar's
international
recent performance.
markets that Iraq is open for serious financial
It's a symbol of American
engagement.
economic
What
might.
does this mean for
However,
those holding
tariffs can
IQD?
also weaken the
Simply
dollar in
put,
the long run.
the value of
He
your
imposed
holdings
tariffs
may have
on
just
goods from
gained a
China
new
earlier
level
in his
of
presidency.
legitimacy.
Traders
But
should pay
caution
close
is
attention to
necessary.
any discussion on
This
interest
isn't
rates.
an immediate
For
call to
personalized
cash
investment
out
advice,
or rush
always
into
consult with a
exchanges.
financial advisor.
Instead,
The
it's a
relationship
sign
between
to
the two is
prepare
complex
wisely.
and often
Currency
unpredictable.
exchange platforms,
These actions
banks,
sparked a
and
trade
online
war between the
systems will
two
likely
economic
begin
giants.
updating their data
Its
to
value is
reflect
constantly
the
in
new
flux,
standard.
influenced by a myriad of
Depending on your
factors.
location and
They place a
provider,
significant
the conversion
import tax
value
on a
may
wide
vary
range of
slightly,
products.
confirming
As
rates
tensions
and
with major
staying
economies
informed
could
is more
impact
critical
market
than
stability.
ever. Now that the new exchange rate has been published in the Gazette,
The U.S. dollar.
this move
Until
carries
next time,
serious
stay
weight,
informed
not just
and make
within
smart
Iraq, but
investment
also for
decisions.
international
This
banks,
increased demand for
governments,
dollars
and
can push up
investors.
the value
When
of
a
the dollar
sovereign
in foreign
nation
exchange
publicizes
markets,
its
making
rate
U.S.
through an
exports
official
more
legal
expensive
channel,
and imports
it
cheaper.
signals to the
These
world
tariffs
that
are not the
currency
first
is
instance
stable,
of President Trump taking
credible,
such measures.
and ready for
As of
broader
March 3rd,
financial
2025,
engagement. This
the
step gives
DXY is
institutions
experiencing
the
slight
confidence
selling
to begin
pressure
using
and
the
is hovering
dinar in
around
trade contracts,
107.25.
banking
If you
operations,
found this
and
update helpful,
cross-border
please like and
transactions.
subscribe for more
For
insights.
IQD holders
When tariffs
living
are imposed
abroad,
on imported
this may
goods, the
finally
cost
ease
of those
the
goods
barriers
increases.
to conversion
Retaliatory
and
tariffs
allow
from
for
these
more
countries could
convenient and
significantly harm
legitimate
American
access
farmers.
to the
The
value
Federal
of their
Reserve will
holdings.
release the minutes
Inside
from its
Iraq,
January
the impact
meeting
is
on
equally
Wednesday.
powerful.
This can
A
slow down
stabilized
spending and investment,
transparent rate
ultimately
means
helping
Iraqi
to curb
consumers can
inflation.
benefit from
Tariffs can
stronger
strengthen the
purchasing
dollar
power
in the
and
short
lower
term by
costs for
making imported
goods.
goods more
It
expensive.
helps small businesses
However, the
budget more
effectiveness of
accurately,
tariffs in reducing the
encourages
trade
public
deficit
confidence in
is
local
debatable.
banks, and discourages reliance on
As we
black
continue
market
to analyze
exchanges.
market-moving
With
events, sense,
Iraq moving
one of the
toward
Fed's
greater
primary
use of
tools
digital
for
banking
combating
systems
inflation
and
is
reducing
adjusting
reliance
interest
on
rates.
physical cash,
The
this
FOMC
change
is scheduled
also
to meet on
supports
March
broader
18,
financial
19,
modernization
2025.
efforts. Digital platforms can quickly reflect the
On the
official
other
rate,
hand, a
bringing
speech focused on
consistency and
economic
speed to
growth. However,
transactions
one thing is certain.
nationwide.
These
Still,
tariffs
it's
mark a
crucial to
significant
avoid
shift in U.S.
confusion
trade
between
policy.
a published
The
rate
tariffs,
change
a
and a
25%
full-scale
levy on steel and a
revaluation.
10% levy
Some
on
investors
aluminum,
might
were positioned by the
mistakenly
Trump
believe this
administration
announcement
as a
means the
necessary
dinar has
measure to protect
instantly
American
jumped to
jobs and
parity with the
industries.
US dollar,
Then business-friendly
or even
policies
beyond.
could
That
boost
is not the
investor
case.
confidence and
A
drive
new
market
published
gains.
rate marks
The
the
new
start
tariffs
of
on
a
Mexico and
structured
Canada
progression,
signal an escalation
not
of
its
protectionist
final
trade
stage.
policies.
Currency reform, especially in
Weekly
post-conflict or
unemployment claims
developing
data are due on
economies,
Thursday.
happens step by
It's a
step.
story that
Iraq is
continues to
choosing a
unfold,
deliberate and
with each
legal
new tariff
pathway that
announcement
allows
adding
it
a
to
new
monitor
chapter.
the impact of each
However,
change,
higher interest
while
rates
building
can also have a
confidence with
significant
both
impact on the
citizens
value
and
of the U.S.
international
dollar.
observers.
The
Technology
administration
is
believes
playing
that
a
unfair
significant
trade
role in
practices
this
by Canada and
transformation,
Mexico have
as
harmed the
Iraq
U.S.
continues
economy.
digitizing
This can
its
lead to
financial
increased demand for U.S.
Updates
products
like
and
these become
subsequently
easier to
a higher
manage and
demand for the
enforce.
dollar.
From
How?
mobile wallets
By
to
stifling
government
global
e-payment
trade,
portals,
creating
the central
uncertainty,
bank
and
now has
potentially
tools to
sparking
track
inflation.
transactions,
And remember,
reduce
financial
fraud,
markets are
and quickly
influenced by a
adapt
multitude
policies
of
to meet
factors, and
real-time
conditions can
economic
change
needs.
rapidly.
The
The
updated
interplay
rate
between
will soon be
tariffs,
reflected
inflation,
across
interest
apps,
rates, and the
ATMs,
value of
and
the
bank
dollar
systems,
is complex and
creating a uniform
multifaceted.
experience for both Iraqi residents and overseas account holders.
On February 10,
This also
2025,
reduces
the
lag
world
and
watched as
confusion that
President
often
Trump,
come with
in a move that
unofficial
sent
exchange rates
shockwaves
or
through global
outdated
markets,
information from
announced a
less
new
reliable
round of
sources.
tariffs.
There's also the
tariffs on
international
steel and
dimension to
aluminum
consider.
were simply the latest
Iraq is
salvo
working
in what
closely
promised to
with
be a
financial
protracted trade
institutions like
battle.
the IMF
The
and
situation
World
is
Bank,
fluid, and it is
changes
still
of
too
this
early to
scale
fully
are rarely
assess the
made
long-term
without their
impact
input.
of these tariffs.
Publishing the
The
exchange
Dow Jones
rate in the
Industrial
Gazette
Average was
likely
the only
follows
key index to
behind-the-scenes
gain,
collaboration
rising by
and approval from global
0.95%.
financial stakeholders.
Higher interest rates can help
That
to cool
international
down an
backing
overheated
adds
economy
serious
by
credibility
making it
and may
more
open the
expensive to
door
borrow money.
additional aid,
Policies, gold markets,
investment,
and some
and
key economic
infrastructure
indicators.
partnerships,
So
all of
let's
which
jump
feed
right
back
into it and keep you ahead of the
strengthening
curve.
Iraq's economy and,
Hey everyone,
by
welcome to the
extension,
Market
its currency.
Newsroom.
So,
I'm here to
what
give you
should
the
do
latest
as an
scoop on the
investor
US
or
dollar,
IQD
Federal Reserve
holder?
policy. This cautious
First,
stance is mainly due to
don't rush.
economic
Be
uncertainties and
methodical.
potential
Review
inflationary
your
pressures from
holdings and make
proposed
sure they are
tariffs.
stored securely.
Stay tuned for our
Second,
midweek updates as we
monitor
delve
local
deeper
and
into
online
how these
exchange
developments are
platforms
shaping
to
the
see when they
financial
update to
landscape.
reflect the Gazette
This
rate.
increase in cost is
Third,
often passed on to
avoid
consumers in the
decisions
form
based
of
on
higher
social media
prices,
hype or
fueling
unverified
inflationary
sources.
pressures.
Stick
As
with
prices
official
rise, the
updates
Federal
from the Central
Reserve,
Bank of
tasked
Iraq,
with maintaining
Ministry
price
of
stability,
Finance, or
may
trusted
feel
news
compelled to
outlets
take
like
action.
Iraqi Dinar
When U.S.
News.
interest
These
rates
sources
rise
will give
relative
you
to interest
accurate
rates in other
information
countries,
without
the
false
dollar becomes more
promises or
attractive to foreign
exaggerated
investors.
claims.
As the
This
week
moment
unfolds,
is
we'll
more
monitor
than a
these events
headline.
closely to keep you
It's a
informed about their
fundamental
potential
shift.
impacts on the markets.
Iraq is rebuilding
Investors
its
will
financial
scrutinize
identity,
these minutes
and
for
publishing an
insights
official
into the
exchange rate
Fed's
is a
stance on
cornerstone
inflation
of that
and future
process.
interest rate adjustments.
For the millions of
Now,
dinar
shifting our
holders around the
attention to the
world,
labor
this might
market,
be the
another
beginning of the
high-impact
change
report
they've
to watch
waited
is the
years
weekly
to see.
unemployment claims
The
data.
road to
In this
revaluation
era
is long
of
and
trade
complex,
wars and economic
but this step
uncertainty,
proves it's
understanding
not
the
just
interplay
talk,
between
it's
tariffs and the
progress
dollar
in
is
action.
paramount.
Thanks for staying with Iraqi Dinar News. Make sure you subscribe
President Trump has
and stay
enacted
tuned
new tariffs
because
on
more
goods from
updates
Mexico
are on
and
the
Canada.
horizon.
If the minutes
This
reveal
journey
concerns
is
about
just
rising
beginning,
inflation,
and we'll
it could
be
signal
right
a more
here,
hawkish
breaking it all
monetary
down,
policy,
step
strengthening
by
the U.S.
step.
dollar.